Hi everyone, Michelle Saduskas here, and thanks for joining me. Today I want to show you how I pot up my pepper seedlings. Actually, they're plants at about this time. So I wanted to show you the soil, the gallon-sized buckets that I use up here in northern Wisconsin, Ashland County, Wisconsin. So we're at the tip of Wisconsin here, about 45 minutes away from Lake Superior. And today is May 26th. So this is about the normal time that I'm planting up my pepper plants. And I'll just kind of show you just a quick little gander into the greenhouse here. I typically have a plant sale with all my extras, and these here are the ones that we're keeping and need to be potted up. So I've just started, and I kind of want to show you how I do it and a couple of the tips and the tricks that I have, and you can kind of use or not use any of what I've got here. So first, soil. So what I'm putting my pepper plants is a barky, soilless mix. Something that has bark, perlite, a little bit of peat moss in it. What I'm looking for, though, is a lot of bark in it. And this happens to be a Berger BM7 mix that I like. Depends on really what's in your neck of the woods for what you can get for a soilless mix. So there's no soil in it. Usually a perlite, bark, vermiculite, and a peat mix. And the bark really makes it kind of a quick draining for my containers. And I really want that for my peppers. So let me show you the buckets that I'm using. Let's see, I've got one right here. These are what they call 5-gallon buckets. They're not taking 5 gallons of water. They're 5-gallon space-wise, so they're not a 5 liquid gallon. This particular one that I've settled on I really liked is the GrowPro brand. They're nice, heavy, sturdy buckets, and they are plenty big for growing our peppers up north. In fact, some of our smaller pepper plants varieties don't even fill out these buckets with the roots. So I don't want to go any bigger than a 5-gallon. So what I've done here is filled these buckets up about 2/3, maybe 3/4 of the way up with soil, and I'll throw it in there with a scoop. What I want to do is always, I just take my fingers and just kind of push down so it's not really light in area, but it's kind of getting a little bit more dense. And this is about the size, about how high up that I want to begin planting my pepper plant. A couple other tricks that I use. I mark my names on old lines. I pick these up curbside, and there's always a plethora of old blinds curbside. So these particular ones, as you can see, are probably like a 2-foot blind. I cut them in half here, and this is the size. I like this big because I can see from a distance what my pepper is. Early on, I'm kind of struggling as to maybe what peppers are which, because I usually grow about 15 to 20 varieties. A little bit later in the season, I know what peppers are which. But the nice thing about this is what I'll do is when we do get it in the bucket, when I go and harvest fruit on it, I keep a running track. I'll take a marker, and on the back side, I'll put a slash for every fruit that I pick off. And then at the end of the season, I've got a spreadsheet that I plug in how many fruit came off of each of these plants. So I've got kind of an idea how productive or non-productive they are from year to year, and things that I've changed or varieties maybe that I want to change. And last year, for example, when I saw my numbers were way down, I kind of wondered what was happening, but we had really cool nights well into June, and the peppers were not happy with some of the cool nights. So just a tip, and this I can easily see from a long ways away and as a marker. So let's get on to actually putting the plant in the container. When I'm growing these, I like to stake these just to give them a little bit of extra support so they're not blowing over in the wind or tipping over. This is just a little bit of plant Velcro that I pick up in rolls. So I'll just pop that off. This is just a skewer that I put in here fairly, when the plant gets about maybe 8 inches tall. And that really helps support that plant. This particular plant's got some fruit coming. Sometimes in the past, I've taken off blossoms to try to get that vegetative growth earlier in the year before I get it out here. What I like to see on my plants are maybe just a little bit of fruiting, or better yet, them ready to flower or just flowering when I'm putting them in. So they're ready to go to town. I don't want to keep taking my blooms off now because up in northern Wisconsin, especially with some species, it's going to take many, many weeks to come up with more blooms, and your pods are going to be maturing, if they mature, very, very late in the season. I like to try to get 2 flushes of flowers and 2 flushes of pods in on my peppers. Okay, so I'm going to try to do this one-handed here. What I want to do is I squeeze the bottom of the cup, and typically what I'll do, and I'm not doing this when I do it with 2 hands, but I'm putting my hand, I'll just show you guys. I put my hand over in this way, so I'm supporting the plant. My right hand would be going ahead and squeezing that cup to where I'm pulling it out, and you noticed this slides right out. Check out the root formation. Perfect. It's filling the cup, but certainly not circling round and round on the bottom. So this, my friends, is perfect root growth. And these are 18-ounce cups. Let me just make sure before. 18-ounce cups. And I like to square bottom solos. Square bottoms. Okay, so what I like to do is just, if there were a little bit of roots in the bottom, just do a little bit of breaking this up at the bottom so it's a little loose. The other thing I'll do is notice the seed leaves are still here. When I planted them and transplanted them into the cups, sometimes the seed leaves are below or above the soil. This one's above. I'll just pop these off. And I'm almost thinking I'm going to go up. This has got a lot of leaves, so I'm going to take off the next 2 sets of leaves here as well. Not a big deal because I want to bury that stem. It'll grow all kind of roots. So I'm just popping that off right at. And let me get you a closer look in here. And you could see right in here, if it kind of catches it here. Let me get a little closer here. Not really wanting to focus, but there is new growth ready to come right out at those junctions. So not doing any harm to the plant. All right, so in here I want to dig down a little bit more for it, and I'll kind of show you where we're going to be sitting it. All right, so I'm going to be burying the stem another good inch in here. So let me just get some soil here. Let's see. Try not to go too fast and make everyone dizzy. So we'll just get a scoop of soil here. And just kind of, right now I'm filling it from one side just to make it easy. If I got 2 hands going, if I wasn't videotaping, I might just go around the plant. All right. Notice I definitely buried the stem a good inch, and I'm pushing it down, putting my hand right where that cup is and pushing that down in there, pushing it with my fingers, compacting the dirt a little bit in here. Okay. I think what I'll do is it could probably go with a little bit more soil. I'm going to steal it from the bucket next door here. I like to have my soil roughly about to an inch to the top of the lip here. It gives it lots of room for root growth, and when I pour water in here, we've got some water space here too, to where it could flood up and then just soak down and out. And there we have it. Here's the Capilla paprika. That's kind of a tongue twister. And there she is, all planted. And I think with this particular one, I will put a stake in here. So I'm going to put this on pause real quick. I'm going to get a stake and show you putting a stake in this particular one. Okay, I'm back with a bamboo stake. Bamboo stake about a couple feet, 2.5 feet. I know this plant is already pretty tall. The fruit are really going to be giving it some weight. So I'm going to plan and put a stake on in here early. So I will just right now put it fairly close. Zip it down right to the bottom so there's leaning in here. It can lean onto that stake. And if it happens to need a little bit more support, I'll put a little tie or a Velcro piece right in there. Sometimes I put the stakes later in the season into the containers, which is helpful too, but right now I put it in and the roots can kind of grow all the way around it. All right, there you have it, and hope you enjoyed. And if you have any questions, please put them down below, and I'll try to get back to you on them. Bye.